So, Hollow Knight. I've always had the idea of getting around and playing this game. It feels like only yesterday where the game suddenly creeped up out of nowhere in, say, a Democracy video and countless others, hearing untold amounts of praise for the product. It took a bit to get to, 3 years since the initial release, Christ alive, but suffice to say, holy shit, I love this game. I have been on an addiction spree over the past week or two, spanning over the course of 30 plus hours as of the time of writing, and it is an absolute blast. In a genre already stacked with all-time greats such as Metroid Prime and Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Hollow Knight not only manages to be a wonderful addition to these collections of games, but also one that somehow expands and transcends the genre into something else. The characters, the world building, the exploration, the progression, the areas, the increasing of power, the reward system, the side quests, the power-ups, the bosses, even the simplistic but in-depth combat are all fantastic. Every location is a blissful and joyful experience to go through, and today I want to discuss one particular locale that is pretty special. Hornet, please pick me up right this instant. I'm scared. Goddamn. Not even gonna give me a second to breathe without dropping me straight in, eh? Fine. I'll play it this way. Remember that statement I made just a few seconds ago before being dropped down here? Every location is a blissful and joyful experience to go through. Yeah, about that. I lied. Because Deepnest isn't blissful. And it certainly isn't joyful. No, it is in fact the opposite. Downright horrifying and stressful. Oh, but you might say, those poor unfortunate souls who have never experienced this hell or this game.
What's the big deal here? This isn't scary at all.
And, you'd be sort of correct about that. In the first few seconds, at least. I mean, this game has had plenty of ambient and dread-filled moments prior, so how could this be any worse? I'll tell you how. Time. Every other ominous section prior, despite being quite bone-chilling, at least had the decency to only stick around for a small bit before moving on to the next section of the level. Deepnest, however, isn't like that. Dread is permanent throughout your venture here. And guess what? It just has to be a fucking maze on top of it all. That little drop-down pit I showed you of me entering Deepnest accidentally for the first time, you can't just simply wall jump to the top and call it a day. No siree. You have to explore the side bits and fight God knows what to even escape out of the top. Every moment within is prolonged for all the right, but also wrong reasons. The game absolutely forces you to take a seat and admire all the delicious details, even if you don't want to. And just when you think you are about to be home free, drags you under the dark waves once again, so you can stay just a little longer. Deepnest is exhaustive. Every time I think to myself, it couldn't possibly be that big of an area. Oh wait! Fuck me it is! Look at this shit! Look at it! Not only are many of the areas in Deepnest absolutely massive, but to compound my earlier comment about the labyrinth-inspired layout, it's also very much maze-like in the routes you walk. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you like tons of claustrophobic, tight hallways and tunnels, because you are going to be dealing with them for 99.9% of your stay here. And combine this all with the not-so-friendly inhabitants who dwell here, and you have a recipe for a not-so-fun experience. Oh, speaking of the enemies, good God, are they something else? No matter the size, no matter the numbers, Deepnest's monsters end up being some of the most challenging in my playthrough thus far. Ranging from the surprisingly fast and hostile dirt carvers that can ambush you out of nowhere, so best be on your guard, to the annoying carver hatchers birthing their already established young, the venom-shooting creeps that are the deep hunters, the surprisingly not-so-hostile gigantic garpedes, and... oh, of course, the average husks lying around. Okay, besides those beginning free, there's nothing too bad here. Oh, Jesus fuck! What is that? God is dead. If it wasn't for the fact that I didn't want a noise complaint at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, I surely would have screamed out loud with the sudden emergence of... that. I just thought it was an average horned husk, no different from all the other husks I've been killing thus far. Meet the Corpse Creeper, folks. An entity that, according to the Hunter's Journal, is a parasite that hides within its host's body until their death, then taking over and transforming their host into what you see before you. And just for some more fun for you, not every husk you encounter is one of these things, meaning you have to make sure and wait around for the body to twitch and eventually transform. There are certain areas, by the way, that are just absolutely filled with these damn things, especially this fucking room. The instant I realized what was going to happen, I just wanted to skulk away in the corner if it wasn't for the fact that they can climb now! They climb now? They climb now. Ugh. On the plus side, if you can even call it that, it seems after moving far enough to the left that I stop encountering these damn things, so at least I don't have to deal with them anymore or anything just as bad. I sure am hoping these cobwebs filling the area are just for show and not to foreshadow something awful. Fuck my life. Of course, it had to be spiders. Spiders that have free range of movement anywhere, having no need of your pesky floors, are aggressive as fuck and pop out of the foreground whenever one appears. It's like the game is reading my nightmares perfectly. But now, it is about time I tell you something. The cherry on top of this infested cake. The piece de la resistance. The key that makes this area stand out for so many. Oh God. The sound design. I don't just mean in regards to the bone creaking of the corpse creepers, sudden emergence of dirt carvers, or the game of chicken with the stalking devout. I also mean that with the very area and music. What you've been listening to this entire time, since the title card, is the theme for Deepnest. Sounds pretty awful, right? Well, that isn't even the half of it. Because I'm intentionally leaving out one crucial piece of detail for you. Here, let me add it in. the sounds of bugs and spiders of all kinds crawling around in your ears, as if the vermin that infest Deepnest itself have come alive and invaded your brain. And combine this detail with the already established enemy sounds and cues, the emergence of small, scurrying spiders, the rapid giving out of the ground below you, and the incessant drumming of the digging garpedes, and you have a cacophony of nope that just assaults your ears. And people, let me tell you something personal about me. For a good 2 to 3 years of my life, when I was first born, I had a defect that left me deaf. I got in trouble of all kinds from not being able to understand the people around me or communicate all that well, having to go through certain programs such as sign language and pronunciation training. I consider myself lucky to have my hearing now, viewing it as something invaluable and precious to me. Never in my life, up till now, have I ever had such an onslaught on my hearing, one that absolutely left me overwhelmed and filled with an awful headache afterwards. I could barely stand being in the same room as the garpedes for too long, just because of how much it was for me to process. That is the effect Hollow Knight, and more importantly, Deepnest, can have on you. Something that digs and burrows itself so deep into your subconscious, uncovering any of your fears and anxieties and exploiting them to a masterful degree. But after all this talk about Deepnest, I feel as if there is one other thing I am missing out on. Are any of you people familiar with the term fridge horror? It's a terminology taken from TV tropes used to describe the brand of horror wherein which the terror of a circumstance takes root only after the situation is done and some thinking has been performed. Basically, it's the realization of fear after the fact, an epiphany that recontextualizes the entire situation. Well, the designated hidden boss of this area, Nosk, might as well be the perfect example for such a trope. During your travels through Deepnest, in a certain room and out of the corner of your eye, you might just see a figure in the dark tunnels. A figure that's... you? Or, wait, is it someone related to you? Are you not the only member of your species? Has there really been someone hiding down here this entire time? Or perhaps your game design mind rationalizes it as simply an oversight by the developers, that during development, they accidentally left a model of the player in a tunnel for, say, a cutscene. Whatever the case is, your curiosity gets the best of you and you try and pursue after it, only to find it gone. Weird. Strangely enough, the mysterious entity is not seen anywhere else in Deepnest, at least in the main path. I went through the entirety of the area, even the hidden village, feeling as if I missed something crucial, wondering where the hell that figure was. It wasn't until I got the Crystal Heart that I was able to investigate this little ledge and sequence break this section all without the double jump. Rescue another adorable grub right here, and... oh, hey there. You, checking someone out? Let me just talk to you. How the hell do they move that fast? Hey, wait! Come back here! It is at this precise moment, if you take the time and investigate all the little cubby holes in this tunnel, especially using the dream nail on the dead bodies sprinkled around, that you realize the situation you are in. It's a trap. Messages such as brother, my face, and dearest further compounds the issue as you try and figure out what's going on. Am I hallucinating? Is something controlling my mind? Is this thing a singular entity, or is it many? By the time you start to regret it all, the exit is closed off. So you continue into the room, finding a nest of hanged corpses, many of which belonging to Deepnest residents such as the Stalking Devout. And then... the whole situation around Nosk and his battle is a masterful trap card unlike any other that I've seen. There's a reason why, despite seeing your double earlier, you can go the entire area without seeing it again, or knowing that this boss exists. Because that's how it was designed. Because that's exactly how Nosk's trap works. It is optional, secluded, hidden, out of your sight, never knowing it's truly there at a glance, until you stop and pay attention, until you notice the figure in that one room, or remember seeing it, wondering where it is, looking at your map and crossing imaginary X's at where you've been and possible rooms it could be in. You pay too much attention. Your focus has been centered down on this one mystery. Your curiosity has been piqued, and it is being exploited against you. And now that you've remembered this ledge, found your way through, and saw the mysterious figure once again, you just won't let this enigma get away for a second time, disregarding what may come about as a result of your obsession. Regardless of if you used that cheese back when it was available, or if you think that Nosk is an easy boss, it is impossible to deny that the setup and bait into this battle is fucking brilliant. I am so upset that this was one of the few things I knew about the game before playing, because it is a masterful mystery that deserves to be experienced blind. Yet, even with this knowledge, I still appreciate the mystery and setup greatly. I mean, why else would I be talking about it in this video? The Hunter's Notes at least give some great words of encouragement afterwards and... Wait, what? It's a mind reader? Are you telling me that in this hellhole of a pit, a creature specifically evolved to peer into the minds of unfortunate victims and manipulate them with sights of their family, their friends, their loved ones? That is unfathomably disturbing. And judging by his words, it's a species? How many of these fiends are just out there, lying in wait? If it truly reflects the memories of its victims, why wasn't it anybody else like Hornet for a Hornet? Why was it me? What does this all mean? The questions are enough to drive a man, or bug, mad. And what a befitting emotion to experience for such a holiday. I may hate traversing through its guts, but I also can't help but admire the craft behind Deepnest. I have been the Monarch of Dragons, and how is it possible that a team of only 4 people, funded through Kickstarter, were able to make a section of the game more terrifying than many other AAA horror games out there? We truly don't deserve Team Cherry.